Hello, we're the Fantastic 404's, and this is our app, the Unbeliefable app. Here's just a small version of what our tech is going to be on our current slides. To meet our team, there are Kieran, Ross, Emil, myself, and of course Planty, who has a bit of a potty nut, but he has never left us alone throughout this entire project. So our app, as we'll hear, will show a small demonstration, and we'll watch here now. Hello, and welcome to the Unbeliefable app by the Fantastic 404. Here we'll be able to sign in as a user and be able to go look at our eGarden and have a look at what we have in store for you today. We log in. So here, as we can see, we would like to see if we like to save a password. I'm just going to dismiss that for now, and we're going to move into our eGarden. Here, as you can see, we have already some plants here. Our users can see, have a look at all the information about their plants. We can turn on a notification to remind us to water that plant. We can also add a new plant. So I'll add a new plant here, and I'll have it in a nice teal color, and we'll have a fun fact here for us. Simple. And we'll add that new plant, turn to our plants, and we now have our new plant with its description, and we'll turn that reminder on for us. From here, we can then go back to here, where we can easily see that we can take a picture. But luckily, I took one a little bit earlier, and we can select our image here. As you can see, our little Bulbasaur plant with our little sucker inside of it. It's currently saying that the plant is healthy. We will click to find the plants, and as you can see, its official name is a Superiorium, and we can easily add that to our plants. There's also a second one if you wish to add that one if that is more close to what you believe. I think for this one, I do believe it is our first option. So I'll add that to my plants. Now that is added, I won't be able to add the others. So let's go back and check my eGarden. As we can see, he's been added, and he's a very happy chappy now. We can turn on our notifications, head back, and that is our little app. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. So, from that, as you had a quick brief look into our app. For this, the front end we developed, we decided to go with React Native Expo, and we chose the language of choice of JavaScript. We did have a look into TypeScript. However, due to the fact that we're bringing multiple elements from different areas into this, we decided to stick with JavaScript because we all knew it and we were all comfortable with it to be able to get over any hurdles that we needed. Using JavaScript as well, we allowed the Expo SDK to be able to look at the Android and iOS systems, basically translate that into the respective phones. This allowed it for a very easy communication and allowed us to develop it quite quickly. However, due to this, it allowed us not to have any React modules. It became a very large app over time, which consumed a lot of memory. But now we'll move on to the camera feature and apply the API with Kieran.
Thanks, Ash. Yeah, so we experimented with various camera components in React until we found one that was suitable that would allow us to take a picture and also save that image to our gallery on mobile. Once the picture was saved as a JPEG, we could then convert that into a base64 file. This is needed in order to query the machine learning plant API database. Once queried the API, we can then bring back the suggested plant identification. We also utilized a second endpoint to be able to identify if the plant is healthy or if it has any diseases. Back over to you, Ash.
That's brilliant stuff. And from this, we will now move on to our backend group, which both Emil and Ross will have their say about it, what we chose.
Thanks, Ash. So we opted for Firebase on the backend due to its wide range of services and features available. Of the two NoSQL Firebase databases on offer, we felt the Firestore database would be more suited to our needs. This was a scalable and flexible database which easily stored large amounts of data of various data types securely as collections and documents. This allowed for easy retrieval of plant data from the plant API, while also preventing SQL injection by the user on the front end.
Firebase authentication allowed users to populate their own sub-database with their own plants and creating their personal e-garden, and it gave them the ability to log in with their own email and password, and they were attributed with their own user ID. And this allowed us to handle the permissions granted for the app by the user, as well as handling the push notifications for each user. Back to you, Ash.
Brilliant, guys. Thank you for that insight on the back end. So, of course, with all doing this, we did have some challenges. Kieran's main hurdle was finding encoded base 64 due to the fact that it was originally done with a third-party app, but unfortunately hadn't been updated in half a century, it felt like. But that was one of the major problems. Alongside this, the Firebase documentation hadn't been updated with the current Firebase, so we were working with the most latest version of Firebase, which then led Ross and Emil to be banging their heads a little bit against the wall. But with trial and error, I'm super impressed these guys have managed to overcome that. And then finally, my little hurdle was transforming and changing all the translation from JavaScript into Expo and helping it understand that what I'm asking it to do, whereas not understanding at all. But that is the end of our little section of ours. And this will now lead on to questions, which we'll be happy to answer.